Reader Pups, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the 43 books that I've read so far this year. So I have compiled a list and I have made it into categories of each book, kind of where I want them to fall. So we have our three categories, which we're going to start low with our books that were okay. These are like 3 stars or lower. Then we're going to go into books that I liked. This is probably the biggest category because these are books that I enjoyed them, I had a good time, I can tell you about them, I remember them, and I was enjoying myself as I was reading it, but they weren't 5-star books. And then that brings us into the 5-star books, which is probably the shortest category because 5-star books, you can't just give any book 5 stars. Like, you gotta be really specific. These are my God tier books. These are books that have changed my life, that I just not stopped thinking about, that I could not put down, that I was obsessed with. Disclaimer, this is not going to be every single book because a lot of these are like series or some of them were novellas. Some books that just didn't really fit into some of these categories, so it's not going to be all 43 books. So if you're trying to count and be commenting down below that wasn't 43 books, you lied. Check my Goodreads. I do have 43 books on my Goodreads, but in this video there's just not. I'm not doing all 43. Alright, so without further ado, make sure to subscribe for more bookish videos and let's get into it. Okay, so starting at the bottom, these are books that just didn't really make the cut. They were kind of forgettable, just kind of meh books that didn't really resonate with me. So the first book on this is a book that I actually read recently, which is My Life with the Walter Boys. This book I gave 3 stars. I did enjoy it as I was reading it, but really thinking about it, it's not really the best book I've ever read. It was very Wattpad-y, and I think it was actually originally a Wattpad book before it got published. This book just was very YA, very Wattpad, kind of cringy a little bit. The characters made really dumb decisions, and the writing was not very good. It was not, beautiful and poetic and well structured. It was just kind of, like a 5th grader wrote it. The only reason I liked it more than I probably would have is because I watched the Netflix show before reading this, so I already felt kind of connected to the characters from the show. I feel like if I had not watched the show and just went in blind with this, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. Basically, if you don't know, this is a YA fiction romance about a girl that loses her family and she goes to live with basically her godparents, and they have 11 boys and she has to go live with them, and there's a love triangle. The boys fight over her, that kind of stuff happens. Not the best thing I've ever read, but it was good enough to finish it, So next up is a series that I really wanted to like. It is actually right here, which is The Naturals. I really tried to like this series, but I just couldn't get into it. Every time I've tried to read Jennifer Lynn Barnes, I just really can't get into it for some reason. I also have the Inheritance Games, another series that I just really couldn't finish. I couldn't even finish the last book. I DNF'd it 3 times and just could not get through it. So for some reason The Naturals just was like that as well. I just couldn't get into it. I'm really disappointed about it too. It just wasn't one for me. So if you don't know, The Naturals is basically these kids that have really heightened skills and abilities, and so they work for the FBI as this super team or whatever. They don't actually have powers, they just are really good at reading people. Yeah, it just kind of wasn't for me. Alright, moving on, we have probably the biggest category, which is the books that I liked. These are 4 stars. These are books that I enjoyed. I had a good time reading them and could definitely recommend them to other people. Starting off strong, we have the How to Train Your Dragon series. This is a kids series, if you don't know. It's what started the movies. It always starts with the book, and these are the books. The How to Train Your Dragon series is just the cutest thing ever. It's just so adorable. The drawings in it are just so cute, and Toothless and Hiccup are just the cutest team, best friends, adorable, and I can't wait to have kids and read it to them. I love the Vikingness of it, and it's very, very whimsical and fantasy Viking. It's not at all accurate, but it's fun and full of adventure. In this one, they don't really ride dragons, they more just live with them. Toothless is just a teeny tiny little green dragon with a stutter, and Hiccup can speak Dragonese, so he talks to the dragons, and all the dragons have such personalities, and there's funny characters like Big Booby Bertha, and there was the Hairy Hooligan tribe is what they live in, and so there's just like fun, names. There's Snotlout, there's a character called Kamikaze, there's Stoic the Vast, and Gobber the Belch, and Fish Legs, and Snotlout, and just like all the fun characters. I really love the series. I have 4 books left to go, and I'm super excited to finish it. It's just so cute. Alright, so moving on, we have the Hunger Games series, which is right here. I just recently read the series for the first time whenever the new book was coming out. I did really enjoy it. It was a good series. First book was probably my favorite just because that's kind of how it goes with these kind of series, where like I really love diving into the world, learning all these new things and learning about the characters, but then as the series goes on, like it's not as fun for me. So the first book was really good, and then it kind of fell off a little bit for me. Still was a 4-star series for me, so still really good. Okay, so 1,000 Heartbeats was a sweet little standalone fantasy. Well, not fantasy, no, it's fiction. It's YA fiction. It was actually really long, but it was like good, and like it was a good amount. I really liked it, and I think it's a book that I would probably want to reread soon. So we have 2 books here. This one is Dungeons and Drama and Dating and Dragons. These books were really cute. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, this is definitely a great book for you, because the characters are playing the game, which is really fun, and I think that it was just a really cute little romance. Nothing too like crazy or special, and not super memorable, but it was still like a good time while I was reading it. Like honestly, I don't really remember what happened much anymore, but it was still fun, and it'd definitely be like a quick palate cleanser kind of read. It's like a breath of fresh air kind of thing, and it's really cute. So I really liked the characters and the dynamics and the friendships, and the romance was really sweet. I will say that Dating and Dragons was probably my favorite of the 2. I think that that one was a lot more interesting and appealing to me. Okay, so moving on, we have Miss Elsie Silver. I have started getting into her books this year, and I have been loving them. So I recently read Flawless, and that one was really good. I also read Wild Love and Wild Side as well, and those ones were just really good. I really liked them. I eat her books up. Like I literally start the book, and then like a few days later I'm finished, and I'm like, where did the time go? Like I finished the book? Like I literally look at those books on my shelves and I'm like, I read those? Like it's just happens. Like her books are so addictive to read. So they are cowboy romances. Something I thought I would never say, that I read a cowboy romance and enjoyed it, but it's a vibe, and I'm loving the vibe that it just gives, and I really want to keep reading her series. I can't wait to keep diving into her world. I love her characters. Her character development and character building and like the relationships that she does is just so beautiful and so well done and thought out. Not just a romance book. It is about family and friendships and love and just like community, and I love it. So moving on, we have This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I recently read this one as well, and I did really enjoy it. It was giving me like The Summer I Turned Pretty, but like grown up and better. And I think I really liked it, and I want to like read more of her books, and I hope that they keep giving me that feeling, because I want to like chase that of like the them on an island, you got a little bit of drama, and then they fall in love. Like it was just so beautiful, and I loved it. And also like it wasn't as smutty as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like straight up smut, but it was very beautiful the way that she wrote it. It wasn't graphic, it was more poetic. I'm trying to find romances that I can read that are like that, where like I don't care if they're doing it, but I like it whenever it's poetic and beautiful and like a beautiful moment instead of just like bang 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 bang, whenever it's just kind of closed doors. I know what you're doing, have a good time, but don't tell me about it. I thought that it was really well done, and I liked the characters and the development, and it was definitely a book that I could see myself rereading in the future. Okay, so next up we have Our Infinite Fates. This one is one that this is my most recent book that I just finished, and I loved this book. I ate it up. I love the characters. I love the premise of them, you know, going through 1,000 lifetimes, loving each other through 1,000 lifetimes, and having to kill each other before they turn 18, which is just such an interesting concept. And the whole book, I was like, why do they have to kill each other? How do they get into this predicament? Like, what's gonna happen? Plot twist at the end of the explanation why is I did not see coming. I was like, oh my gosh, like out of all the things I could have guessed, this was not it. So it's really interesting. I really loved that book a lot. Next up we have The Rose Bargain. Honestly, it was a little bit forgettable now that it's been a little bit since I read it. Like, I can't really remember too much about it, but I do remember like the ending getting me and being like, oh my god, I have to read the next one right now. The next one is not out for a little while. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where it's gonna go. I did remember enjoying it as I was reading it, so that's why it's pretty high on the list. So we have Onyx Storm. This is the third book in the Fourth Wing series. I really liked all of the Fourth Wing books, which is surprising. I didn't think I was gonna like them. I didn't even think I was gonna read them for a while because they were just so hyped up. I did finally get into them and I did really like them a lot. So like addictive and action-packed and just full of moments, and there was just always something happening. Next up we have Fearless. This is the third and final book in the Powerless trilogy. I loved this book. Gave me everything I wanted. I almost cried a few times. I was on an adventure. This one was probably, I can't decide if this one is my favorite. Powerless and Fearless are like here for me. They're both so good. I love the beginning and I love the end. So next up I read First Time Caller whenever it was really popular when it first came out. This one was really cute. I did enjoy it as I was reading it. The characters were really sweet and the romance was really sweet, so I did really like that one. This one is a romance where they kind of meet on a radio show about love, and then they have to find her like fake dates and stuff to go on, and then he actually ends up falling for her instead and becomes really protective and jealous of her. Next up we have Wings of Starlight. This one was also really good. If you are a Tinkerbell fan, this one is for you. It is about Queen Clarion and Lord Mallory's story. It's a forbidden love, a slow, you know, love. It's beautiful, poetic, absolutely stunning story of, you know, them both having to do their duties and decide what's going to be best for them, and ultimately, if you watch the movie, they have to make the hard decision of not being together. So it is a little bit sad in the end because you know what is going to happen, and you know that you're not really going to get to end up together, but it is for the best. Protect each other, and so it's just really sweet and beautiful. And the quotes in this book, the quotes were giving. They were so good. Next up we have River of Spirits. This is a book that I just randomly found when I was working at Barnes & Noble in the kids section. I was shelving the kids books, and this was just a beautiful copy of it, and it just looked really interesting. So I looked it up and it had amazing reviews, so I decided to get it, and I was pleasantly surprised by how cute this book was. It is a young reader's book, but at times it was almost like it was a young adult. She ferries souls, and her guardian goes missing, so she decides to go out and ferry souls on her own, and that goes wrong because she's young and she doesn't really know quite what she's doing yet. So she meets a human girl that is looking for her dead brother, and so they go on this adventure together. It's a friendship of two girls learning to trust each other along the way and stuff like that. So it's a really sweet little story, and I really enjoyed it. Last up we have The Spell Shop. This one is so cute. I loved this story. It's just a cute little cozy fantasy with a really good story, and I really cared for the characters, and the romance was really sweet, and the little plant Kaz was just so cute. So I really enjoyed this one as well. She has a new one coming out, and I'm really excited for that one because I think it's set in like a bookstore, which is really cool. So I can't wait to get my hands on that as well. So I'm really excited about that. So last section we have here, this is my 5-star, my God tiers, books that I just loved and was obsessed with and can't stop thinking about. So starting off strong, we have the Sky Hunter series by Mary Lou. This duology was just so much fun. I buddy read it with my boyfriend's younger sister, and it was a blast of us just like freaking out the whole time. It's kind of like a dystopian. We've got like overthrowing the government kind of stuff. People with like these like metal wings that like fly around and are sky hunters. This girl, like warrior kind of girl, which is really cool, she's deaf. So we get a little bit of sign language in there, which is really awesome. Like goes off on her own adventure, and she meets a sky hunter dude, and they start forming a bond and everything. It starts out enemies to lovers, I believe, and then they start loving each other and protecting each other. And his character, oh my gosh, I want to reread this book so bad right now, just thinking about it and like talking about it again. I want to reread because his character was just so sweet. He was like a little puppy dog, golden retriever energy guy with like a lot of trauma and backstory, and I just loved his character. And also the main character as well, the main female character, was a really strong, beautiful main character, and she was not ignoring in any way. Really liked her story and her character, her growth throughout the 2 books. So please go read these books. I'm begging you. They were so good and I can't stop thinking about them. Okay, next up we have the Belladonna series. This series changed my life. I'm not even kidding you. These 3 books just did it for me. I read them so fast. I read all 3 books in like a week, which is insane because they're like 300 to 400 page books, and they had me in a grip. They had me in a chokehold. I could not put them down whatsoever. I even got my mom to read the whole series almost as fast as I did. Like, we are obsessed, and I can't stop telling people about this series. Basically, you have Signa, who is a girl who can't die, and she basically falls in love with death as a person, and it's just really interesting. There's also a mystery that she solves. It's a gothic fantasy. It's just beautiful. The way that she writes is like poetry. Oh my god, it's so good. Go read this book. Alright, next up we have Wild Eyes. This one is in 5 stars because this is my favorite of the Rose Hill series. I just absolutely loved the story and the character development that she made her characters go through in this one, and just like the characters overall was just so sweet. The vibes were giving. We have a horse rancher and a pop star singer trying to escape her life, and she learns that basically her whole life is a lie, and she has to really find herself. As she finds herself, she learns to love West, and he as a character, oh my god. I listened to the audiobook with it, and his narrator, wow, so good. Enchanting, his voice. Anyway, so I really liked that one the most, and I just had to put it in there. A Harvest of Hearts was a House of Moon Castle inspired fantasy, a cozy fantasy. It was so cute. We have a talking cat, we have magic, and a mystery to unsolve. This main female character was so interesting to learn about and watch her go through this journey of trying to figure out why the sorcerers harvest hearts to use for magic, and there's a whole thing that she learns about everything and the kingdom, and just everything was just so interesting. The character dynamics and the world building was just so interesting, and I really loved the pacing was really good as well. I just love this story. It's so cute and adorable, and especially if you like House of Moon Castle, this one is for you for sure. Alright, next up we have the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. This was my first series by him, and I have fallen in love with him and his writing. Bow down to Brandon Sanderson. He is just an absolute god when it comes to writing. I haven't read his other series. I plan to start with Mistborn, I think, and dive into the Cosmere like universe. I've heard it's a lot, but I do want to do that at some point because I just like Skyward just blew me away. It is a young adult sci-fi about Spensa, and she wants to become a fighter pilot. This planet that they live on, and there's like the Krell, which are like these like aliens, and the world, each book the world just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you just discover more and more and more, and it's just so interesting. I will say the first book was probably my favorite because I just love, again, diving into a new world, learning these characters, and watching them go through their journey. The third book actually was really interesting because she's on a new planet. It's almost like you're reading a new book, but with characters you already know and love, and it was just really interesting to follow her story and her journey of basically defying everyone and becoming this like hero in a way, but like with the help of her friends. And it's really interesting. Next up we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. This was my first like successful Emily Henry book. I tried to read Beach Read a long time ago, and I don't think it was the right time for me to read it because I just didn't really resonate with it. But I finally read Funny Story, and this one was just a funny story. It was just so much fun. The characters, everything, I was just obsessed with it. I definitely want to do a reread of it eventually because I just loved the characters, loved the development, how the title comes full circle with the book and everything. It was great. So last up we're going to talk about, quickly because my camera's about to die, we're going to talk about a reread that I did with my boyfriend about my favorite book series ever, the books that got me into reading, Chaos Walking by Patrick Ness. This is the first book, The Knife and Never Letting Go. This book is my ultimate god tier. I love this series with all my heart. It is what got me into reading, and I love these characters and this world and the premise of it and the writing and just everything about this book series. Basically we have Todd, who is 13, and he's on this new planet called New World, and on this planet all of the men have something called noise, which is basically you can see and hear all of their thoughts, and also animals kind of have that a little bit too. And so we have Todd and his dog Manchi, and he lives in Prentice Town, and in Prentice Town it is a town of only men because noise germ is what they call it, is what killed all the women. So there's no women, it's just men left. And he goes on an adventure and he finds a girl named Viola, and that's all I'm going to tell you because I don't really want to spoil anything, but it is just such an amazing world. I got my boyfriend to read this series and he became obsessed with it too. I also got my best friend to read it and she became obsessed with it. So everyone I've ever recommended this book to, they're obsessed with it and just can't stop thinking about it. It's just one of those books that it's just like so different and so interesting to learn about. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I could talk about that book forever, but my camera is flashing at me. So alright guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this gave you some good book recommendations. Comment down below if you read any of these, what you thought of them, or comment down below if you have some book recommendations for me or anybody in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching again. Make sure to subscribe for more bookish videos, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!